My name is Scott Connors. I'm an assistant professor of consumer behavior at the Dan Department of Management and Organizational Studies. I'm a marketer and consumer psychologist, and I take an experimental approach as a researcher to studying consumers' interactions with brands. So my research tends to fall into sort of two groups. So on the one hand, I look at consumer self-concept and their identities and the groups that we interact with and how this influences their interactions with brands. So what this means is I look at consumers' sense of who they are and how this influences their brand interactions. In some of my research in this area, I look at how consumers' perceptions of self-brand distance, so that is how close or distant a brand feels to their sense of self, can influence their preference for different types of information. So what we find is that if consumers feel particularly close to a brand, so a brand that they have a very strong relationship with, they've been with for a long period of time, they tend to prefer more concrete, detailed information. So this would be information about how you use a particular product or brand, as well as maybe attributes about that product. And what we show then is that this leads to, when conveyed in brand communications, stronger evaluations towards the brand and greater purchase behaviors. On the other side of things, we show if you have a distant relationship with the brand. So this might be a brand that you kind of feel trapped using or you don't have any other alternatives, you tend to prefer more abstract information. So this is more the kind of overall essence of why you might use the product, or sort of things that just capture the gist of what the brand is about. And in this case, we show that brand communications that feature this language lead to more positive valuations and, again, greater purchase behaviors towards that brand. In another project in this area, I look at how when consumers come to perceive a brand to be harmful, maybe because of the brand's actions or because of their reputation for being harmful, they'll actually be more likely to engage in unethical actions to punish the brand. So what we see is that when a consumer sees this brand as harmful, they'll lie, they'll cheat, they'll steal, and they'll otherwise violate their own sort of moral code of ethics in order to get back at this brand that they see as harmful. This research is important not only because it develops actionable strategies for building stronger brands, but because it examines how the actions of these brands influence consumers. And this really captures the influence of the social sciences within our consumer behavior group here at Western.